it's been a while since we saw you in the cage, right? In terms of,
Yeah,
this big gap in between fights. And obviously I know it's not really time off for you per se. Like you're still
yeah.
training and still grinding, but how have you kind of made the most of this big gap in between fights and especially looking ahead to this fight too?
So I mean, I'm always somebody that's in the gym, but I feel like if I just make it about myself, then I probably, because I don't have a fight, I won't ever, come to the gym. So I'm focused on like helping other people in their camps and just training, trying to get better. I'm also, I mean, I'm a family man, but I'm also doing other stuff outside of fighting, to earn passive income and to like kind of take up my time. So yeah, that's kind of like what I've been doing. So I've been definitely training. I train 2 times a day, even in my off season. So, yeah, but if I focus on like, hey, I got to be here because this other guy needs me for his fight, it's a little easier for me to like be there with a year with no fight.
Yeah, and iron sharpens iron too, right? Like obviously, I know
Yeah,
you get a lot of work with Adrian Yanez and Cam Smotherman. I've spoken to
yeah.
them a bunch of times. Kind of just tell me like what has been the impact of working with these young up and comers like that. Obviously, you still have a lot of years left in your career too, but what's been kind of the
Yeah.
impact of your own training and how that's kind of carried you forward working with guys like that?
Guys like that are great for me because we're kind of great at different things. So I'm able to gain knowledge from them in their areas of expertise because they are experts in a lot of different things too, and we're able to like kind of bounce ideas off each other. Also tell each other what works and what they do that's great, and unstoppable. What they do that could use some improvement. So, and they do the same for me. So that's been like super helpful for me. I'm hoping it's super helpful for them too. But yeah, it's definitely fun, because not only does it like they help me in the areas that I'm not as good in or that they're better than me in. Um, Me teaching them things that I'm good at helps reinforce why I do things, and it makes my techniques that much better. So, yeah, I think that's one thing that like a lot of fighters coming up, they should be doing. They should be investing in their teammates as much as themselves because that in return will keep you motivated to be in the gym in your off season. That will keep you motivated, when you don't have fights. Um, and all those things you gain from it are kind of like invaluable.
No doubt about it, man. And I gotta ask you too, like with this Marcos Breno fight, obviously we can talk all day about the stylistic matchup, but I kind of want to ask you this: like, do you kind of see this as an opportunity to kind of remind the rest of the division of where you stand, especially in the top four, top five? Because obviously, it's kind of a weird position, right? Like, there's no real rankings at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah,
But obviously, you're a top three, top four guy. I can't
yeah,
remember exactly where you were in the last rankings, but do you
yeah.
kind of see this fight as an opportunity to really showcase your skills and also make a statement to the rest of the division?
Yeah, for sure. When I think when they stopped the rankings, I was at like 2. But this is definitely that. It's a chance, yeah, to remind everybody who I am. A lot of the guys, I don't think they forgot about me. They're trying to keep my name out of their mouths and trying to keep me under wraps, just because I haven't fought in a while. But yeah, this is my chance, to just force myself into everybody's mouths again, and I can't wait for that because it's been a long time coming.
And in terms of your last fight, I want to touch on just briefly. In my
Yeah,
opinion, I watched the fight this morning studying and getting ready for this interview. I feel like that was one of the most signature performances of your career. And obviously, it wasn't a finish, but I think your ability to show your resolve through, over, the course of the fight and to not slow down, your endurance, like pretty much kept the same the entire time, right? So do
yeah,
you feel like that was an important performance for you to show, especially coming off of the Patchy mix fight?
yeah. I think that was important not only for like the fans but for myself. Because I believe I made some nutritional errors during that tournament that was affecting my my performances. So that performance just solidified that I was on the right track with what I was doing. And it was also like it's fun to me to silence the guys that think my last opponent had like the best cardio in known to man. Like nobody can match his cardio, you know. It does my heart joy to to silence those people that were like, oh yeah, he's the craziest phenomenon of cardio, you know. Because I can be that, I can deal with that, and you know, I'm just as a marathon runner as I'm a sprinter, you know. I could do it all. So yeah, that was fun.
In terms of what this next fight does for your path to the title shot, it's
Mhm.
the division's kind of an interesting spot right now. Obviously, Patchy Mix was supposed to fight Leon Drigo. Now we don't know if that's going to be scheduled. So you kind of see this as an opportunity to potentially,
Hey,
you put on.
I'm stepping in. Leandro
Yeah,
Higo did not deserve that title shot,
right.
in my opinion.
I agree.
Um, So I'm stepping in. I'm volunteering as tribute. You know, this is my time now. I go out here. I dominate in impressive fashion. I'm next in line for the belt. You know, I feel like I'm a fight that makes more sense. I think I'm a definite more equipped to sorry. Can, did
Oh,
I break it?
oh,
Hello?
yeah. You broke up for a second, but you're back. We're good.
My bad.
Oh,
So
you're
yeah,
good.
I definitely feel like I'm the most dangerous threat to the dethroning Patchy, and I feel like the loss that I suffered from him was a fluke. I say that, but I also respect him, and I think, you know, he's a great champion. Only reason I say that is because I don't believe he can recreate a finish like that. Now, I don't believe he can. He's not recreating that anywhere. You know. So yeah, that's what I believe, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and I believe I'm next. I should be next in line.
What'd you make of his last title defense against Magomedov? Obviously, it was a split decision. It was a really jam-packed fight. I guess if you managed to see the fight, what'd you make of it, and what'd you learn from that fight?
Yeah, I managed to see the fight, and I mean, it proved what I thought to be true. You know, I mean, Patchy Mix just like any one of us. You know, he can have bad nights, he can have great nights. I think that was a great performance from both guys, and it could have went either way. You know, so yeah, I believe that I am definitely in the mix with those guys. You know, I believe that yeah, Magomed could have won that fight. I beat Magomed, so I believe our talents and our skill levels are, you know, they're obviously some of the best in the world. But I don't believe what it helped me to know is that he's not unstoppable, which I didn't believe that before, but it just solidified, you know, that, you know, he got dropped in that fight. It was a tough fight, you know, it was a tough fight for both and a great fight from both. But I see holes that I can take advantage of, and I see places where I can win that fight.
With your two career losses, like where do you feel like your ability comes from in terms of bouncing back from losses? Because the two losses that you've had, you've gone to have like these really impressive showings. Obviously, we talked about your last fight against Sabatello. Where do you feel like that comes from, your ability to bounce back? Does it come from your wrestling background and kind of moving up that way, or where do you feel like it comes from?
You know, I was thinking about this. I did a different interview. I think it could be because I'm hard headed. You know, it could be that. It also could be that I don't put a lot of stock in. I don't put as much stock in my results. I don't put as much stock in my results as I put in my performance.
Mhm.
So yeah, and I also, there was a quote that's always stuck with me that Anthony Pettis told me, was like, never believe how great people say you are and never believe how shit people say you are.
Mhm.
So so that's part of the reason I feel like the way I look at my losses is like, okay, that was a bad night. I'm gonna get better. I know I can perform better. Let me start doing the things that will help me have a better performance. The other thing is kind of what I mentioned before. It's like hard for me to walk away from those losses like I got my ass beat, because they happened so fast, and it was like a lightning strike type of moments, that I didn't prepare for, that I got caught with. So like it's hard because I feel like if I was to go in there and get my ass whooped for 5 rounds or 3 rounds and then get finished, uh that'd be harder for me to come back from, because you know, but the losses I've had is like I was doing well until I wasn't, and yeah, so I think it's twofold. It's partly me being like a hard head, partly because of the way I lost. That I'm able to bounce back, um, but it's mostly probably my demeanor and my outlook on yeah, my career probably. I
And
don't know.
especially with up and coming fighters too, like do you feel like that's kind of a trap that up and comers fall into in terms of worrying a little bit too much about the wins and losses aspect
Yeah,
rather than kind of putting on the total performance and the total package?
yeah, exactly. Because it's like, so we put all this work into a camp, and then after you lose, if you put all your results or your focus or your chips or like what you value in your performance, then it's like everything that you've done to get better in a camp is for naught, is for nothing. You're right. But that's not the case. You've definitely got better. You've grown as a martial artist. For your next performance, you're gonna be better. Even from the fight, you're gonna be better, because you have more things, that you can work on. So yeah, it's better to like look at your performance or your like what you put into a camp than to like the results are going to be the results. Sometimes crazy stuff happens, and especially in fighting, it's like nuts. But yeah, so I think that is a trap that MMA fighters, especially young fighters of any sport, fall into.
Couple more questions for me, man. Once again, I really do appreciate the time. It's great to meet you, great to chat with you. This has been a great conversation so far.
Yeah.
Having faced Patchy Mix and Merab Dwalishvili, I want to get your thoughts on if that was ever to happen down the line, whether it was in the UFC or some sort of crossover fight, like Patchy Mix and Merab. How do you see that
Mm-hmm.
fight playing out?
So at this point, I feel like Patchy Mix has the upper hand, or I feel like Patchy Mix is the better mixed martial artist. I think in a head-to-head fight, I think Patchy Mix would come out on top. I feel like he has the right attributes, and he's a bad kind of stylistic matchup for Merab. Also from like me fighting both of them, I feel like Patchy Mix's win over me is more valuable than Merab's win over me, just because how recent it was. And Merab's was like kind of earlier in my career. So yeah, at this point, I would go Patchy over Merab.
Would you say that's because also Patchy's striking is a little bit more polished too, and that could be a big difference?
Yeah, I think his striking is definitely more polished. But his like Marab's biggest attribute, I believe, is his cardio. I don't necessarily believe any of his techniques are like polished. Like his control, I don't feel is like super polished, but he will run into a wall over and over again, which is an amazing attribute to have. His cardio is a weapon. So, but with Patchy Mix, I feel that his techniques are they are so like techniques in martial arts are usually for the smaller man to beat a bigger man, you know? So the better you are in technique, the less you need to use muscle, strength, cardio, like physical attributes, you know? So I believe that I think Patchy will be able to deal with that because of his technique. So yeah, then I mean that's just how I see the fight. I see what Merab would be best at would be his grappling, but Patchy is a much better grappler technique wise than Patchy. Or than Merab. And then you add in the striking, which his striking looks a little more polished than Merab. Not to say his Merab striking isn't good, because Merab striking is good. Patchy just seems a little more polished.
Before we wrap things up here, I want to get your thoughts on the main event between Francis Ngannou and Renan Ferreira. Kind of give us a breakdown of that and how do you see that fight playing out?
Man, I don't even know, bro. That is a toss up to me. I feel like experience goes to Francis Ngannou. I have no idea with power because they're both so astronomically strong. And they can put people lights out so crazy. That like either one of them touch one another, I feel like it's game over. I'm gonna give the edge to Francis because of the level of competition that he's had to fight to get here. Renan is unproven, you know. I was saying this earlier. It's kind of like the fight between me and what's the guy I'm fighting? Why am I blanking?
Marcos Breno.
Me and Marcos Breno. My bad. Me and Marcos Breno. It's kind of like that. Like he's very good. He's unproven. You know. I've been proven against like a lot of the guys in the top of the division. So yeah. So I would go Francis.
Absolutely, man. Well, it was great to meet you. Great to chat with you. Before we wrap things up here, I want to give you the platform to shout out your team, any sponsors you're working with, all that good stuff. I'll give you the final word.
Yeah, man, I'm here at Olin Athletic, about to do a strength and conditioning workout. But I want to give them a shout out for helping me out. Crave Meal Prep and Prep Company, they've been amazing with my meal prep. This 2 fight camps, because I mean this has been a long fight camp. And Cricket Wireless for always keeping me connected. Combat Corner for always keeping me in the freshest gear. There was one more. Oh, my teams, Thug Jitsu University and Metro Fight Club. That's all my teammates there. Thank you guys for all the help.
Absolutely, man. Well, it was great to meet you. Great to chat with you. I have a feeling we'll definitely check in again soon. I really did appreciate this conversation, and all the best, and we'll chat again soon, man. Thank you.